I always have a pair of tweezers to get my stitch. If you want to come in here, Bob, and pull my stitch out, put it to the back. I'm using a Gutermann blind stitch, very, very fine blind stitch thread, perfect for shears. I got a nice shear here, long one. Okay, what I do is I first fold over my 1.5 inches. If you want to pin it, you can, but I never do. And I refold. Now I'm going to do my second. Now you were worried about it moving, the inside moving. So once you set it up perfect in the first one, it doesn't move. The leading edge will go right up to the end. And you just, usually the first, beginning, you're fussing, you finally get it. Once you set it up perfect, it flows properly. Okay. Okay, so now we could double check for the 1.5 inches. A teeny bit more. So we can adjust. Okay. Now I'm going to go under. You want to get behind me, Bob, maybe to look? I'm going to push. My machine is a Columbia. I'm going to push it, make it sure that it's right in. I'm right, my fabric is right in there, up against here. I'm going to take a little bit. I've adjusted it already for this fabric. So I clip my first piece off. Now, the trick is making sure that the fabric lays up there, gets up there, and notice which hand I'm using. See, I'm going to measure again. There's my 1.5 inches inside. I'm taking it. I tickle it. Now, notice where my fingers go. My one finger and my thumb is going to be holding the underneath fabric, and I'm using my left hand. See, the top is puckering a little because I'm holding the bottom very gently, a little bit at a time. Adjust. I always put my needle into the fabric and then adjust. You see how I do a little bit at a time. You can't go fast with this machine. It's very, very ticklish. If I want to do my 1.5 inch check, and then I always go back and I look to see whether I want to make it tighter, looser. Looks fine to me. Fabric's laying even. I'm not going off. You can check again for my 1.5 inches. Perfect. Now, if you wanted to put pins in it to make sure that it stayed, you could. The left hand, I've always been taught to use my left hand holding this. Your left hand is always, well, I don't know if you're a lefty, Rose, I forgot, I think maybe you are. But the left hand is gentler. And with this, you need your left hand because you're able to slip it in. See, now everything's all even. I'm not going off. And my leading edge is right in there. I could kick it in a little more if I want. I could pull this to make sure that the leading edge gets there. And I look at my stitch. Oh, it looks like I missed. Oh no. Look on this side. Looks fine to me. See, now notice how I never press till after I'm finished. It's a nice even stitch right down. Grabbing nice. Now, when I'm finished, that's when I'll press because every time you sew, it depends on the fabric. This has a little bit of a tight stitch to it. Sometimes I make it looser depending on the fabric, and if my stitch is looser, then whatever I pressed in before, I'm going to press and it's going to be a different seam. You know, I'm not going to get the seam. So it's just very, very gingerly. It's a very ticklish machine. You take your time, you set it up, and then you're sewing. Set it up. Nice and easy. Slip under, thumb under here. Don't pull the bottom. Just hold the bottom and let the top flow in. And it'll go nice and easy. Now, like I say, if you're worried about that, you can always pin. You can always pin yours if you want. Pull it out. But once you start doing it, here, let's hold it up to the light and see where that leading edge is. See? It's not, it's in there. It's not out of alignment. It's not like the leading edge is crooked or anything. It's right up against the where I'm going to press the seam. You can keep on every once in a while, go and check. See, I'm off because I stopped checking. I was talking. Teeny bit off. Usually your fabric will tell you when you're off, because then you'll start going offline. But it's, you know, it's good to keep on checking. Little bit at a time. You could never, ever with this shears go a mile a minute. But if you start doing this, you'll make up a lot of time with that hand sewing. I could loosen it a teeny bit if I wanted. And to me it looks fine. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, I'm missing a stitch. I have to stay up. And when you're adjusting these, it's only one notch at a time I ever adjust. I never turn it full blast. Never turn it full blast. So, let's see, it went off now up there. Let's see. Okay. What's that? Yeah, see, it went off when I took one out. It was better the other way. I don't know if that's, you could see it. Your leading edge is right up there. It's going to press in beautifully. Nice stitch. Oh, it did miss one up there, I see. But if it's missing a stitch, then you have to kick it up another notch. I think that's when I pulled it off. Yeah, because the other one's not missing any. Perfect. So that's how you use the blind stitch. Perfect seam. And then we would do the same with the hem. The hem may need adjusting. You know, I'll finish this off to show you how when we get to the bottom, it's all on line. Because I could see it's all still even. You get cocky after a while and you don't want to measure, but it's always good to measure. See? Look at us down the bottom. Are we right on or what? Look. See? No pressing in, no no pins. Whoops, gotta take that out. There you go. Okay, there we go. And now to put the hem, I'm just gonna guess it. You may have to adjust. You may usually now I would press before I do the hem so that I get a clean edge. But you may have to change the stitch for the hem. But the same thing with the hem. You know, you measure, get your hem, and you could do a nice straight hem too. Put index finger in, hold the bottom nice and easy, guide it. Yeah, it looks like you have to change the stitch a little for the hem. Oh no, a little, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, I have to go up a little for the hem because it's missing. But that's it. You hem the same thing. Hold, grab the bottom, nice and easy, and gingerly. It's very, my hand is very gingerly holding everything. It's not pulling anything. It's just holding it ever so slightly, but I am holding that bottom, and I'm just making sure that the top just flows in. See, and you end up at the same. I mean, it may be off because I didn't measure, but just for time's sake, holding, sticking my index finger under, grabbing with my thumb, holding, nice and easy. I'm letting it slide, like, you know, the fabric is sliding. It's not like I'm grabbing it. I mean, I'm holding it, but not grabbing it. So look, I'm a teeny bit off. So you could, if you wanted to, you could, you know, guide it at the end like this, so it is even. And here's your hem. Oh, see, I needed to adjust my stitch. because I didn't get it all. But there's your ham.